Hello again. We have gotten our next contestant, Olympus DF Plapo 1.2x PF2. That is exact objective that Maxim from Murmansk has, and we would say it one of most requested for recurrent processors objective. It has 60 millimeters working distance, not that much, but it could be useful. It could be still useful for some kinds of work. So let's see how it works. So we need to find a width of field, and to be frank, it's not that big. In lower magnification we have only 27 millimeters field of view, and at maximum magnification we have kind of 3 millimeters here, not that much, even 2.5, can you imagine? So technically it gives us very small field of view, but it gives us something else that is much more interesting than just a field of view. So let's look at the processor, or not processor, motherboard of Apple iPhone 7s. Let's walk over it for a while. Might be I don't need this side. Okay, I have this one place I already remembered. So let's look at it. Here we have our lowest magnification. And let's zoom in. Because I have changed object, I need to refocus all the microscope to get a stable focus over all range. So in our case, I need to find proper focus here, and we can see it's a place I already looked at with other objectives, but this objective has very narrow depth of field. So when we turn it to maximum magnification, you can easily see that when we focus on the top of this pretty huge part, all others are just fuzzy. When you focus on this smaller details or parts, we have both foreground and background fuzzy, and when we focus into those little smallest parts, we still are losing focus. And we can now focus on the base of the board and to serial resolution, let's switch to the eyepiece with 30x magnification, because our right eyepiece is regular VHSD 10x eyepiece. So let's see our real magnification with proper eyepiece. So it's not easy to spot where we are. I've spotted. So we can see now the top of this solder part and the base of the board. If you move this little smallest part here, you can still have focus either on the top of the smallest part or on the board. So, to be frank, with such strong objective, not much objects on board could be used easily. Okay, let's move a bit further. What else have we got in here? It's still our motherboard. So now let's just see. It's a full field of view now. Technically 28 or how much millimeters. You can still see things, but might be not that easy for such work. I guess this objective is supposed to be used on processors. So let's switch to processor. As usual, in our case, we have our Apple a13 processor here, and I have some used some usual suspects spots. Those I know well. So let's look at it and see how things work here. Okay, so here's our Apple A13 processor with minimal magnification, kind of that, and let's zoom in. I need to just focus a bit. Let's go to the place I already have seen a lot of times, and let's zoom more because it's still not our full zoom. Okay. We still have a room to... Oh, now we reached the top, the end of magnification, the upper part. So let's move over the processor a bit. But as I have said to you a lot of times, if you want to see real resolution this microscope gives us, you need to switch to my other eyepiece that is supposed to be used for getting real expression of eyepieces. So pay attention please. When I focus on the top wires, bottom wires are fuzzy. When I focus on the bottom wires, top wires are getting fuzzy and sharp. So in our case, we can distinctively see different layers, not by only 3D viewing, but also by just losing the focus over there. Okay, so let's walk over the processor now a bit to see parts I guess you already have noticed with different previously set objectives. So we're just slowly moving over the processor, and I will change focus a bit to upper layer and to lower layers. So let's just move. What have we got in here? Some other pin turn off. This processor has a lot of turn off pins which were taken or turned off or cut off by Maxim from Kherson. Very kind from him. He sent me a lot of processors 2 years ago, so now I have a possibility to make such interesting video for you. So we're just moving over processor, yes, over surface, and maybe you will notice something familiar to you, yes, so let's just move. And all those parts most of them were checked with less powerful processor, so just take a look and pay attention. I am focusing on the upper layer now. Yes, do you see it? And I need to increase magnification a bit. Okay, I am focusing on the upper layer. Now I'm focusing on the lower layer. So you can see that all those two layers just requires our refocusing. You can't see them both sharply. Only one layer is seen sharp, while another is seen fuzzy. It should be that way because our objective has a huge aperture. Okay, so let's see what have we got here. I guess we have at least two layers here. Let's move further. What have we got in here? Another place with obvious two distinctive layers. Even three. Its bottom, its middle, and its top layer. Okay, let's move backward a bit. Let's find something interesting. I will zoom back to that place. What might be interesting here might be... Oh, I remember this place too, so let's zoom in and see what we got in here. To be frank, I don't see anything interesting, but at least you can see over those conductors, and maybe those conductors would give you some hint about real resolution of the microscope. And this part definitely requires our refocusing to see at least both layers here. Okay, let's zoom out and move over the surface of processor a bit more. What have we got in here? Nothing that much interesting. Oh, what about this pin? Let's zoom in. Okay, I see again different layers. Okay. When this objective is set on a SMZU, by Maxim for instance, his real resolution is 12% lower than in this case. 12% is obviously a substantial amount, but not that much, to be frank. But still, this objective on szx12 gives us much more details than when it's set on SMZU. Okay, so just a few parts left to look. And let's look over all the surface with some fast movement. Maybe we can... Oh, here's a place with a lot of scratched wires. Yes, I missed them on previous checks. And here all those layers were scratched and torn off partially, just to let us see a structure of the processor. Okay, let's make our last movements. Oh, here's another place I remember. Let's see on it. Take a look. I filmed this spot on other objectives, but to be honest, I haven't filmed all interesting parts, because to film them you need to know which are interesting and which are not. So in my case, I'm just moving you over anything I see without real understanding which worth your attention and which doesn't. Okay. Here's top of the pin turn off, while connectors are still working. Okay. Just few movements left, so just let me return back to point where I started. In this place there are again distinctively few layers seen. I see at least 2, but I guess there might be even 3 easily seen. I just don't know where to spot. So we are returning back to original place. It's here where I started. Let's make our last zoom and pay attention. I'm changing the depth, and you can see a lot of structure on those conductors. You can see those conductors consist of little small, not even particles. Okay, so the last thing we need to look at is my Intel i13 processor. So let's get to it. It's located close to the Apple's processor. So let's make a little dive in. Again, I have to change the depth, the height here. And let's see what have we gotten. With 10x eyepieces, I don't see much about resolution. Let's switch to our 30 times eyepiece. And now I guess we can easily see the structure of this bus of conductors. Yes, I see. I guess everybody can spot it easily. And we have technically 2 sizes of conductors. This on the left are 50% bigger, and the pitch is 50% bigger. So technically those conductors are seen with every microscope, while those are seen only with a few. And last thing we can try to do now is to move light a bit to make light reflecting differently. And with such kind of light we can see some structure in different angle, and to be frank, we are getting highest possible resolution here. It looks like lens light through the lens, but it's not light through the lens. So it's last thing used to see all those things clearly. Okay guys, so we've just looked at our famous Olympus DF-PL Apo 1.2 PF objective, and last thing that left at my disposal is DF-Plan 1.5x. So this DF-Plan 1.5x should have resolution kind of 20% bigger than this objective. So let's check how it goes. Bye bye so far, and check my next video for this last objective.